In this video, we'll be going over how to set up the handicap ramp. For the handicap ramp, you'll need these 3 cards and several dozen other event texts, and these are found in Ballroom Closet. The first thing we have done in setting up the handicap ramp is take out all the frame pieces and lay them out in numerical order. Number 7 goes up against the stage, then 6, 5 is going to be the corner piece for the L shape, and then continue down toward 1. The numbers are found on the lower part here, on each of them. There are other numbers here. Ignore them for now. As far as we know, they're irrelevant. The next thing is going to be taking these panels off once we go together and laying them across the top to form the ramp. The railings over there, we haven't even bothered to touch yet. They're the last thing we're going to do. Now, we have organized the pieces into the correct order, and number 7 goes up against the stage here, and when you put the panel on to form the ramp, the panel fits onto these 4 pegs on each one. The best way to get it situated correctly is just use a line of sight to get a good guess at a straight line from peg to peg so you can get the correct distance. You can fine tune it later. You put the next piece flush up against it, and then on each side there is this Velcro strap that you just cinch down and it holds together. And this is number 7, 6, and now we're going to put number 5 into place to form the curve of the ramp. Now, number 5 piece is different from all the rest, not only because it forms the L shape, but you see there's a little bit of writing on here to help out for setting it up. This says ramp continues this direction up, and this piece has to go flush up against this one. Over here, it says inside corner on it, where the ramp forms the curve like this. And you notice there's a big gap here, because there's going to be a corner section of the railing here to meet up with this one, and ramp continues down here. Now, we have finished placing the frame pieces for the rest of it. This last one, number 2, is different from the rest. The rest have a Z-frame for stability. This one is just a single bar because it slopes down to this last panel, which is also the bottom of the ramp. Now, we're going to start placing the first panel. Now when we place it, it should just slide straight down on these pegs here. You may have to get underneath it to adjust, make sure it fits in the hole correctly. And then you may also have to adjust the Velcro between the panels to get enough room for it. And that is how you place a panel. Now, we have finished placing most of the panel pieces, except for number 5. When you put the panel pieces on, it's easiest to start from the top and work your way down. And when you're placing them together, remember to leave enough space in between sections for the panel pieces to fit together. All of these are done the same way, except for number 5, which is 2 slightly smaller pieces placed next to each other on the frame. And now we're going to put the last piece, number 5, in place. This fits on the same way with the pegs and the holes. There's just 2 of them. Now, after a while, we have finished the handicap ramp. The last thing to go on are the railings, which you put on from the top and from the bottom and work your way to the top. You can tell the bottom ones because they have this longer section in front. Now moving on, the next thing you have to make sure of is that this little lip on each section is overlapping the one before it. Some of them have writing on it, those don't mean anything. The next thing to make sure of is that each of these has a pin on it that is on the railing itself and fits into the frame for stability. The ones at the bottom, at the base of the ramp, the pins are actually in the base, not the railing, for differentiation. The next thing is, on this number 5 middle piece, there's this one section of railing that is different from the others, that just fits over this little corner here, and the ones on the back are level as opposed to slanted. That's a good way to tell them apart. The next thing is, a good thing to do would be to Velcro them together for just a little extra precaution for stability. And then for the final part, these last sections of railing have another little thing on them to differentiate them from the rest. And that is the completed handicap ramp.